But if you're sitting on that much cash, if you're sitting on that much money, and you're going to lecture me in my country about going green, then you're a bigger fool than I thought you were. Because if you have the financial power to make lives better in your country, don't preach to me in my country and tell me that it's my responsibility to help the world's global situation get better because we're having too many emissions and destroying the environment. Okay, you take care of your country, take care of your people, and then once your shit's all squared away, then you can come and show us as the model of perfection how we should follow your model. But take care of your crap first. Don't come over here and try dictating that stuff to us.
Yeah,
I mean, hell, if
you have a private jet and you're telling us to reduce our emissions, okay, sell your private jet first, then we can watch more of your material.
Exactly. And then you got Bill Gates and these other clowns, and they're buying up all this farmland, and the Chinese are buying up farmland, and and there's going to be a bill coming through, I think, pretty soon to make that illegal and claw back all that farmland because the communist Chinese are not our friends. And if they're controlling our farmland, then they can control the food supply. If you control the food supply, you control the population. If you control the population, you control the votes. And if you control the votes, you remain in power, no matter how despicable your regime may be. Mao, Stalin, Pol Pot, everyone knew this. Control the land, control the food, control the people. That's how you do it. And if you're going to get like the former Senator John Kerry, the hypocrite from hell, flying all over the world with Greta Thunberg, the only person without a college degree to be nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize for doing nothing but spewing stupidity. Absolutely amazing. This girl's not even old enough to drink alcohol, but she's going to tell my country and the world that we're destroying a world that she barely even has lived in. I have socks older than her. Okay? And she's going to tell me how I should live my life because of climate change and all this other stuff. Well, here's a heartbreaker for you. The global temperature in the last 100 years has gone up about 0.3 degrees average. 0.3 degrees. So if we're really having a rough time with the global climate change condition, then I felt sorry for the people in the 18th, 17th centuries because they had worse climate change issues back then than we did. Go back to the 14th century. The 14th century, we had a cool down of probably 4 or 5 degrees. Okay? And that helped perpetuate the bubonic plague in 1347 to 1351 because people were malnourished, and malnourished people can't fight disease, they can't fight infection. So, 1/3 of Europe died as a result of the Asian infestation of bubonic plague. So don't preach to me about how we should be living when you haven't even lived life yourself.
Yeah, I wonder how many of these people that are famous, rich and famous, and preaching climate change, how many of them actually believe what they're saying, or they're just using it as some kind of game or sense of importance, I don't see them selling their motorbikes and stopping all their consumption of private jets and stuff like that. So I don't know what the game is.
Well, you just answered your own question. The greatest barometer of someone's true belief systems is their actions. So if someone is talking to you about killing greenhouse emissions and cutting back on cars, go electric, and by the way, I'll get to electric cars in a minute. There is more environmental and human damage in creating an electric car than there is in building a gas or petrol operated vehicle, as you would say. But no, it's total hypocrisy that these people will get up there because it's politically correct. It's politically correct to be on this platform to talk about this stuff. They'll land their private jet. They'll walk on a podium. They'll go to a big fundraiser, black tie. They'll shake hands. They'll sign autographs and talk about climate change. Then they'll get on their G5 or their Cessna Citation, and they'll burn, like 40 gallons an hour, and they'll fly back to where they came from. But they're going to tell me I need to fly economy rather than take a private aircraft, which I've taken a couple of private jets on occasion when I had to, that was paid for by other people. I couldn't afford it. But they're going to preach to you about what you need to do as an individual and what we need to do collectively as a species. But
Yeah.
they're doing the exact opposite. So you don't even have to wonder where their true mindset is. They don't believe one damn word of what they're saying, but it's politically correct and it fits into the niche of their I would say their social strata. Okay, you get all these people. Talk about the 1%. Hell, look at all these damn liberal movie stars and directors and producers who tout all this crap, and they're the very people burning up more. They're putting out more carbon emissions than anybody else. Outside the military-industrial complex, celebrities throw more carbon emissions out there than anybody. Why? Because they've got to jet all over the place and do well at Cannes Film Festival. We've got to go to Hollywood. We have to go. Okay, they're out there blowing it out. But they're going to preach to us about our emissions control standards. I'm not buying it.
I mean, I don't have a problem with a private jet. I would love a private jet, but I would love it if I had built my own business that allowed me to, to do it. I mean, I wouldn't take donations for a private jet. Heck no, man. But I mean, I don't have no problem with someone with a private jet. But like I says, if they're preaching global climate change and restrictions in 15-minute cities, that's basically telling me that I am basically a second-class citizen to you, and I'm basically a useless eater. So
I just hate hypocrisy. Okay, there are three things I can't stand: politicians, ergo hypocrisy in general, hypocrisy, pedophiles, and people of low character who want to harm other people just because they think they can do it. Okay, so those are the things that I hate the most. But hypocrisy being the biggest. Because hypocrisy is the one flaw in a person's character that can be totally avoidable if you're just honest with yourself. You know what I mean? Okay, some people are kleptomaniacs. They can't help stealing shit. That's just the way their head's wired. Pedophiles have a mental illness. They need to be put away forever or just put down. But hypocrisy is containable. It's controllable. You can manipulate it. You can stop it. There's no reason for it. And if you're a hypocrite, then I think you're the lowest form of life because you're willing to do anything and say anything to maintain your status at the cost of other people's comfort and freedom. But as far as your World War III things go, this all started with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton started this. When he made China part of the World Trade Organization, that set the forward momentum for China to jump into the global economy, which is kind of strange because China, being a communist country in concept and in practice politically, but China is the most ruthless practitioner of laissez-faire capitalism. No restrictions whatsoever, to include using slave labor to market their products and make their products. And what troubles me the most about getting back to the hypocrisy of these so-called celebrities and people talking about, well, we're going to have to boycott this country, that country, because they have terrible human rights. But we can't touch China because they're making 90% of our stuff. And I'm like, well, and that's how China got the wealth it had to build its navy, build more ships, aircraft, and to build those artificial islands in the South China Sea that suddenly became Chinese territory in international waters to put military installations on and make naval bases. So World War III is closer than most people think because under the Trump administration, he knew exactly how to contain those people. Putin knew where he stood with Trump. Xi knew where he stood with Trump. Ayatollah Khamenei, he knew where he stood with Trump because Trump was, unlike most politicians, Trump was unpredictable in what his response to a situation would be.